And this is easy to understand why this happens. That is, in more primal environments where there is no law except the natural one, females had to find a dominant male to protect them from other males. There was a dominant male that offered them peace from constant rape, from constant male aggression. Females being smaller, weaker, less intelligent than males, could not cope. Their entire essence was dedicated towards breeding, towards weaning and raising offspring. That's why they had to find a male to defend them against not only nature, but that is other females, but against males that would take advantage of our weakness. In modern systems, this role is played by the system. That makes males even more obsolete. They are no longer necessary as protective elements. And women understand this. That's why they've lost all respect for males. The male now becomes an organ, a penis, testicles, sperm donor. Up to recently, he was necessary as a provider, but even that's no longer necessary because, as I said in another video, the previous video, the middleman has been eliminated. That means even as the role of provider, or as the intermediating factor between her and the dominant male, which is the system, he no longer suffices. The woman can go directly to the dominant male, which is the system, and service him directly. The male is no longer necessary. That makes males pretty much surrogate females. That is, they either play the role of a female, that is a second mother, constituting all lesbian relationships in fact, or they are excluded from the gene pool, and this is disillusioned a lot of males. So because women are so easily assimilated, on the one hand they demand, because they are told to, a more effete male. They call them nice, or somebody who washes the dishes and does the laundry and changes the diapers. But on the other hand, because they're also genetically driven, they find this dissatisfactory. They find this emasculation unattractive. So this is the conflict in the female between mean and gene. Whereas they still have that genetic predisposition mimetically, because they are easily assimilated into whatever system they are born into. They find themselves in a conflicting situation. They are told to want one thing, whereas intuitively, instinctively, they want another. This is why for a male, the best thing to do is not to listen to what females have to say. Not to listen to anything they say, but to watch to what they do. Their actions speak louder than words. They will easily tell you whatever you want to hear, or whatever is popular within the culture and the time and the place that you exist in. They will mimic and parrot the morals of their time and place, but they won't understand it. They will say one thing, and yet their genetics, their loins, their instincts will drive them to do something sometimes in contradiction to this. That's why women are confusing to many effete males. The truth about women is they're not that complex. They're really simple creatures. That the shit about the female, the feminine mystique, the complexity, women are so complex that no man can understand them, is utter nonsense, bullshit. The problem with males is because they have been emasculated themselves, is they buy into the cultural dogmas, the propaganda, and instead of watching what females do, they listen to what they say, and they're confused by the disparity between action and words, between theory and fact. But the true male is the male who has dominated his feminine side. In order to dominate your feminine side, you have to understand it. That means that By understanding, by dominating your feminine side, you've understood it, and that means you understand it every time you see it outside yourself. You see it reflected in anotherness. So when a female says bullshit, you immediately recognize it because you know it intimately in yourself. Females, the feminine energy, even within males themselves, is nature personified, as I said. Therefore, it is what should be dominated, should be controlled, not dismissed, not ignored, not denounced, not hated, but controlled. How do you control something? You control something by understanding it. Not by understanding it superficially, but understanding it first within yourself, intimately, and then seeing it in others. Once that is understood, then it becomes less threatening, less of a problem. Many of these males that feel disheartened about female behavior, sexual behavior, are males that haven't come to terms with their own sexuality or with sex altogether, not with nature itself. They haven't accepted nature as it is. They still deny nature. They reject nature. And they dream of utopias that replace nature. Another word for nature is world, or reality. And you can see also aspects of this when they try to escape through virtual, artificial games, sporting events, movies, pornography. It's a way of them trying to escape reality, trying to compensate for their own failings within reality by choosing a reality where their failings are not so pronounced, or they don't matter as much, or they're easily escaped by rebooting, by restarting a game, by revisiting a movie. The reason why females are so desirable to the system, to the masculine entity, is because of what they are, of their essence. They are reproducers, not producers. They are recreators, not creators. They are parroters. They don't construct their own reasoning. They just reflect the reflective surfaces. They gestate not only genes, but memes, ideas, concepts, principles. And that makes them perfect for the system's well-being. They're tolerant in that they don't antagonize anything that confronts them. They are easily assimilated. So this makes them perfect for social behavior. And we can see this in ants, and termites, and bees, and wolves, and lions. All these systems are based on female energy. There is no such thing as an all-male social group. All social groups are dependent upon feminine energies, and where they're not to be found, they are imposed. For instance, in wolf packs, in order to integrate males within the wolf pack, the male has to experience the male wolf has to experience an emasculation, a drop in testosterone, to make it more docile, more accepting of the alpha male's authority, more tolerant, more effete, more feminine. And the male imposes himself upon this male by conducting these mock copulation rituals, where it humps the beta male, imposing itself upon it, telling it that I am the male. And we see this in dog behavior when it humps your leg. When the dog does that, it usually is a sign that the dog is trying to usurp your authority. It's trying to impose itself upon your dominance. And these dogs are usually rowdy, and they don't follow rules. And the larger a group gets, the less masculine energy it can accept. In smaller groups, masculine energy is acceptable because it helps the overall health of the group. In larger groups, it becomes a disruptive factor because of the multiplying effect. So if you have 10 males, let's say with 10% masculine energy, that's 100%. If you have 1,000,000 males of 1% masculine energy, that's 1,000,000%. That's an accumulative dysfunction for the system. It's a problem. That's why the system always tries to emasculate its population, tries to train feminine traits into it, tries to teach its members a lesson whenever they get too out of hand, too masculine. It puts those that cannot deal with into jail. And why is in the United States the vast majority of the population Negroes? Because the Negro is the uncontrollable male. It is male without any inhibitions, any self-control. It is pure masculinity. And that's another reason why it is so it's so attractive, so seductive in our time, because it is the masculine energy which is missing. And because they have no self-control and no, in other words, they have no reasoning above a certain level, are the epitome of this quickly declining masculine energy. But of course, with Negroes, it's all representational. It's all about wealth, bling bling, and how many bitches they fucked. So it's all symbolic. That is, it's what I've called hypermasculinity. Because they have no other masculine power, they exhibit a pronounced symbolic masculinity. They compensate for their declining masculinity, or for the declining usage of their masculinity, by compensating with symbolic methods, with cars, with wealth, with jewelry, with such trivial stuff as fucking women.